This land is your land, this land is my land. From Europe's plains to the Asian highlands, from American shores to the African islands. This land was made for you and me. We share this world is one. Its lands and seas to us all belong. To deny this truth, it's just all wrong. This land was made for you and me. Throughout this world, migrants are crying. Throughout this world, refugees are dying. Throughout this world, many are denying that this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From Europe's plains to the Asian highlands, from American shores to the African islands. This land was made for you and me. Land of the brave, home of the free, used to welcome migrants and refugees. Now loud angry voices, they disagree that this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From Europe's plains to the Asian highlands, from American shores to the African islands. This land was made for you and me.
So, thanks for being here to mark the passing and to celebrate the life of Fergus McCabe. He'd requested that Mick and Maureen might say a few words. Johnny's doing the music, and we also have a recording that Fergus did himself some time ago. Helena, Cathy, Owen, myself, Dad's brother Dermot, his sister Breed, and all his family and close friends have just been overwhelmed and very comforted by the tributes in the Dáil, by the President, by young and old on social media. And driving here today and seeing people line the streets, wishing him well and singing the inner city song was just breathtaking, and he would have absolutely loved it. Fergus was a fantastic father to myself, Owen and Cathy, and he also served that role for so many other young people in the inner city over the years. You always felt heard, you always felt special, and he was always available. All the things that people loved about him in his public life he brought to family life too. So for our birthdays growing up, there was always five-a-side football tournaments or treasure hunts, or we'd be doing musical chairs to him playing protest songs on the guitar. He loved history and reading, and he used to put our pocket money under different books. So Bismarck, Parnell, Lincoln, while at family gatherings or with friends, the guitar would be out again and the political debates would be raging. He brought positive energy and fun to every situation. Even there where he was getting brain radiation treatment a few weeks ago, he was sending us funny selfies from the hospital. And we had a lovely birthday dinner with him the day before he passed, and he had us in stitches. As anyone would know who'd heard his voicemail greeting, he was a massive Spurs fan, and he'd always threatened to shave off the beard if they got relegated. But thankfully that was never necessary, and with their 6-1 win over Man United there last weekend, he went out on a high. Fergus had a few words that he wanted me to pass on. To my friends in the North Inner City, the Bellevaux, and across all the sectors, thank you for your kindness to me and my family over the years. I got so much more from you than I put in. In our times together, from Dublin to Cavan, Germany to Paraguay, we had so much laughter despite the often sad and stressful situations. The local community and the international young people have been outstanding. Their resilience and courage has inspired me, and I've been privileged to be their friend. I am so proud of those who've taken over the mantle in the MYP and other core organisations, and I know that you'll all continue the work with hope and humour in the years ahead. To all my family and their partners, here and since past, thank you for the love and care you gave to me to make me who I am. I wanted especially to thank Lena in front of you. Throughout our time together, and no more than now in my dying days, her care and love, respect and wisdom have been exceptional. We had a really happy time and so much fun, and anything I did in life or work bore her kind imprint. So thank you so much, Alina, for sharing our life together. So thanks everybody for listening, and think of me, but only if it brings you happy memories. And come on, ye Spurs.
Pause in life's pleasures and count its many tears, while we all sup sorrow with the poor. There's a song that will linger forever in our ears. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, 'tis the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. While we seek mirth and beauty and music light and gay, there are frail forms fainting at our door. Though their voices, they are silent, their pleading looks will say, oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, 'tis the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Oh, hard times come again no more.
Well, there's a lovely irony here, first of all. You know, we got 3 minutes each from Fergus to say a few words about him, and I don't think Fergus ever made a 3-minute speech in his whole life. I was given 2 topics, football and politics. Now, the football is not about Spurs, but it's about Fergus as a coach and a manager of schoolboy teams. And I saw a lot of that because back in the day, I had a car, so I was popular with the Belvo managers to bring the teams to matches. So I spent many Saturdays and Sundays on the sidelines. Fergus's style was not one of negative criticism, berating or belittling players. Fergus saw the whole player, not just the 2 feet that were kicking the ball. His style, and it was the Belvo ethos, it was to encourage, to lead by example, to use song and sing songs, laughter and empathy, and a bit of spoofing as well. You know, and he did all of that with his footballers and also in the wider youth work. We know he had 3 babies, Ella, Kathy and Owen, but I think his 4th baby was the NYP too, because they were just so special. And then when we got the Cavan Centre, we had a great venue for bringing young people off on weekends and holidays. So through all his youth work and through his managing and coaching of football teams, he made a massive difference to every young person he met. And it was because he genuinely cared. And his loyalty and his respect for all those young people was returned to him with their loyalty and respect, and also in their grief at his parting. And on the politics, well, we got lots and lots of speeches, and no one better than Fergus for making a speech. But his speeches weren't talk and words. And I'm using the cliche, but he did walk the walk. Fergus was a doer. He looked for solutions that could be realised. His life and his work in so many groups, organisations, committees, policy making were driven by the principles of social justice, equality and fairness. He believed in community empowerment, the partnership approach, consensus building. And we saw that particularly in the Haughey-Gregory deal. And if more of that had been fully implemented, what a difference it would have made. He challenged and he pushed and he showed and he demanded and he held people and authorities to account. And like in one of his songs, he never backed down. And after Tony's death, he was leader, chair, motivator, inspirator, the glue for the Gregory Group. And I've so appreciated him being with me when I had to go into politics. Very apt choice of poem from Fergus for me today, which is Death the Leveller by James Shirley. And you know just some of the lines, sceptre and crown must tumble down, and the men with swords, they're all going to be equal in death with the poor crooked scythe and spade. But you know the line, boast no more your mighty deeds. Well, there was no ego, no boasting with Fergus. He had many, many mighty deeds. And you know, while so many were in public, there was so much that was done privately for families and for individuals. And all of his work was possible because of Helena's support and understanding. And the last two lines of that poem, only the actions of the just smell sweet and blossom in their dust. Well, Fergus's life work, based on acting justly, will continue to blossom. It will always be sweet. And after all, in Tony Burke's words, Fergus McCabe was a legend. Thank you.
The old man sits and wonders, just what can he do? He's lived here in this old neighborhood since 1922, and now he's forced to leave his home and make way for their plans. And he knows that they don't care or give a damn. He takes a stroll around Monto, what's left of it today, remembering his old buddies and the places they used to play. But now all he has are memories, and they are but a few. And it seems the money grabbers want them to. And living in a one-room slum ain't easy. Raising 7 children on the door. No place for kids to play while you build your motorway. Is Lachlan House the playground of today? Now Dublin's inner city is a sorry sight to see. A mass of empty buildings, a hole of poverty. The people find it hard to make ends meet most of the time, and you're surprised that they should turn to crime. And living in a one-room slum ain't easy. Raising 7 children on the door. No place streets to play while you build a motorway. Is Loughlin House the playground of today? Is Loughlin House the playground of today?
A lot of people think that Fergus wrote that song. He didn't. It was Don Baker. But to begin at the top, the president summed up one of Fergus's key gifts of the many that he had when he said, "The great gift of Fergus was his genius in moving commitments on paper into the practical lives of members of communities." Right from the very first time I met him, I was struck by his effortless capacity to get to the root of issues and get things done. His capacity for listening and support was supreme. When I got the news about his sudden death, I thought about when I first met him. It was down at Sheriff Street in the boys' playground in 1973. I'd helped organise a concert to raise awareness and opposition to the construction of an inner tangent road along the route of the Royal Canal. Imagine that. Along the route of the Royal Canal, an inner tangent road. I was talking to a co-organiser when I was approached by this guy with long red hair and a flowing beard. I thought he probably was a band member wondering when he was going to get up and play. Mick Rafferty? Yeah. I'm Fergus McCabe. I'm a social worker based in Killarney Street. I took a double take on that one. Social workers down at Sheriff Street were akin to snatch squads of the state, whose present always signalled misery for families. He explained that he was working with communities along Summerhill, people like Maureen Grant, and in Gardner Street, and the issue of the motorway was an issue for them too. And if he organised a meeting, would I go and meet some of them? I was delighted. And when he organised the first meeting, a group of people turned up. I think the meeting was in Killarney Street, including a shy man, young man from Ballybock, living along the side of the Royal Canal called Tony Gregory. Fergus offered his office in Killarney Street with its phone and printer as a resource, and the rest really is the story of community development in the north inner city for the next 50 years. From the very beginning, Fergus demonstrated all those qualities which over the past week have been recalled by people who knew him and were affected by him. Tributes from the most marginalised to the highest in the land. In the many worlds that he occupied, he was so casually engrossed that it was only later you could appreciate the effect that he had on those around him. With him, there wasn't a task to be done, but a life to be lived with absorbing energy. He did his work with people with humour, humility, and creating constantly meaningful activities effortlessly. As part of his commitment to fairness, Fergus always encouraged local people to take up positions at all levels and projects, including me years ago. I just want to mention two people who gave a tribute to him. Yash Shaki, who arrived in this country as an unaccompanied minor. This is what he said: "You helped me through the toughest times and helped me out of the darkest places. Through our guitar sessions and football, to the chat, support and encouragement you gave me through the years, I will forever be grateful to you. You talked about fairness a lot, but I tell you, you weren't fair on the pitch." And Elaine McCann, who's now a project worker of Fergus's beloved neighbourhood youth project. Very simply, she said, "You were my father figure, my mentor. Whatever woman I am today, I am because of you. Thank you, Fergus." I rung him up last Tuesday, and he was in good form. He said the last time we had talked, he'd been under the influence of steroids, but he felt better now. He indicated that he was thrilled with Spurs' recent results and talked about Liverpool breaching the COVID rules by letting 7 in. He said, "Why don't you come down on Thursday for a chat?" And I was delighted. My main concern was I bring down some beer or wine, but I also had a topic discussed with him. But it wasn't to be, because he passed away that morning. He instructed me to read a poem. Now, it's too long. I'm only going to read 3 stanzas because It's a poem called The 1st of September 1939 by W.H. Auden. The first stanza gives the context of the poem, and the last two stanzas are really Fergus's philosophy of hope without cynicism and of always looking for the best in people and reaching out. September the 1st, 1939. I sit in one of those dives on 52nd Street, uncertain and afraid. As the clever hopes expire of a low, dishonest decade, waves of anger and fear circulate over the bright and darkened lands of the earth, obsessing our private lives. The unmentionable odour of death offends the September night. All I have is a voice to undo the folded lie, the romantic lie in the brain of the sensual man in the street, and the lie of authority whose buildings grope the sky. No one exists alone. Hunger allows no choice to the citizen or the police. We must love one another or die. Defenceless under the night, our world in stupor lies. Yet, dotted everywhere, ironic points of light flash out wherever the just exchange their message. May I, composed like them of eros and dust, beleaguered by the same negation and despair, show an affirming flame. Farewell, comrade, till we meet again.